You know, after watching this movie, there are two things that still boggle my mind. The first being that everyone involved actually agreed to be a part of this movie. And number two is that a human being actually greenlit this thing to be made. My name is Brandon Keith Avery, and this is just my opinion. Hey, what's going on, everyone? Thank you so much for tuning in to my opinion/review for Fantasy Island. I really do appreciate it. And if this is your first time finding me and you want more movie reviews, trailer reactions, and me responding to entertainment news or doing TV recaps, please right now click on that subscribe button and also give me that thumbs up because it really helps me out. Fantasy Island is the next horror/thriller mystery movie that is hitting our screens. And it's just so interesting how this film snuck into February instead of being released in January, which is the toilet bowl season for movies. It is being directed by Mr. Jeff Wadlow, and he's done a couple of films that I did like in the past. About 2008, he did Never Back Down. I really enjoyed that movie. I thought it was pretty decent. I don't own it, but I wouldn't mind seeing it again. He also did Kick-Ass 2, which was a huge step down from the first film, Kick-Ass. I was so disappointed with Kick-Ass 2, and Jeff Wadlow, I mean, he completely botched that movie. The first film was fantastic, but that sequel was pretty garbage. And the last film that he did was from Blumhouse as well, which is Truth or Dare. To be honest with you guys, a lot of people crap on that movie, but I think I gave it like a 7 or 8 out of 10. I don't know why, guilty pleasure for me, but I did find some enjoyment in it. But like I said, this film is being produced by Blumhouse, who is known for their horror and also making cheaply made movies and making a big profit off of them. And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, if you can make a film for cheap and make hell of a profit, more power to you. And the production budget for this film actually came in at about $7 million. But what is it about exactly this Fantasy Island? Well, the enigmatic Mr. Rourke makes the secret dreams of his lucky guests come true at a luxurious but remote tropical resort. But when the fantasies turn into nightmares, the guests have to solve the island's mystery in order to escape with their lives. Or in other words, it's a horror adaptation of the popular 70s TV show about a magical island resort. Now, the first time I saw this trailer was in theaters. I don't remember what movie it was, but I said to myself, whoa, that is an interesting concept. I think I remember Fantasy Island being mentioned before, but it was before my time, but it did ring a bell a little bit and it looked pretty good. I remember the audience reaction was pretty nice as well. It looked like we had something promising on our hands. But if you were to go over to IMDb and look up like what genre this Fantasy Island comes in at, it says that it's an adventure, comedy, and horror. And I may have to say that is an interesting mix there to put all of those things together. And it may be its downfall, and it's not necessarily true either. Not only is this an adventure, comedy, and horror, it is an adventure, comedy, horror, suspense, action, thriller, drama, romance. It's a spoof film. It's a mystery, satire, fantasy, science fiction, zombie movie, and all around just stupid. In other words, this film just does not know what it wants to be. That is its downfall, and it is all over the place. Getting straight to the point, guys, this movie was just god awful. I mean, just absolutely horrible. To goes back to my introductory statement of this video, just saying who in the world would greenlit this to just make it seem like it would be okay and palatable to a movie going audience. I mean, I just don't understand. And the unfortunate thing about it is the concept is quite interesting. Now, I'm not finna sit here and stunt and act like I've done research on the 70s show that this is adapted from or know anything about Fantasy Island. I'm just kind of going into this thing fresh, like, okay, hey, these people win a contest, they can go to the island and all of their dreams and fantasies will come true, but they have to pay some type of price. That does interest me and gets me to the edge of my seats and kind of the thing that makes me want to run to the theater. But when you have a film that is set up like this, you always, or at least I always have to ask myself, okay, what is the mystery behind this? How, when, what, all that good stuff? What is the payoff? If it doesn't tie itself together in the end, then it was just a complete waste of time. Now, I will say about the first 30 minutes of this movie, I was on board. I was somewhat enjoying myself, just wondering how everything worked. but the more they explain in this movie, the worse it got. But before we get there, let's just talk about the characters. Not many of the characters were likable in this movie. I mean, they were a bit over the top. You had these two brothers that weren't really brothers, and just really no one acts like that in real life. I mean, they're just over exaggerated, like, bro, oh my God, yeah, woo, party, high five, like all over the place. And like, I only see people act like that in bad movies. And then you had someone that was snobby. I mean, really, just another character was just, too tied in with the fantasy that he wanted. Michael Pina, I'm a big fan of Michael Pina. I liked him in End of Watch. I like him as the funny guy in the MCU and any other project that he's been a part of. But I felt that he was totally miscast in this role. And with every line of dialogue that was just full of dry humor, I felt that he was saying to himself in the head, like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm a part of this. Just give me my paycheck so I can get out of here. We also have Maggie Q, and she was the best. She wasn't the greatest character, but she was the best out of everyone. And I'll have to say, she was my favorite, even though that is not, anything to be impressed about. And I also go ahead and say the one thing that I did like about this movie, in a weird sense, is that it was not predictable. It was not predictable at all. I had no idea how this film was going to end. But on top of that, guys, nothing else in this film was great, including the bad characters. I said just a second ago that they was explaining too much. Seriously, every time, there's a question raised and then we're going to get an answer, there's an exposition dumped, and it just made everything that much more confusing. I mean, even towards the end of this movie, they kept throwing twist and twist and twist at you just to make the movie seem like it was clever, but it just diluted all of the previous plot points that came before, to where you were just saying to yourself, okay, what was the point of this? I mean, it makes no sense. It is completely nonsensical in every direction imaginable. It just nothing adds up. Nothing adds up at all. I mean, they literally threw in every genre into this like put it in a bag and they just shook it up. I mean, I really don't get it. I really don't understand. I felt the movie was too long as well. They just drew it out longer and longer. It came in like about an hour and 55 minutes. And seriously, I think a 90-minute movie would have been too long. Now, I don't know who approved the script, but it looked like when it was turned in for its final draft, they picked it up and looked at it and went, all right, let's see what we got here. Okay, silly. Okay, we can go with silly. Over the top. Okay, over the top. I like that. Unrealistic. Okay. Let's see what else we got here. Oh, okay. I see what you're trying to do here. You're trying to make everything come together in the end and make it make sense. Yep, that's exactly what I was going for. Oh, okay. I see. No. This is not what I want. What do you mean that's not what you want? You don't want things to come together and to make sense somewhat in the end? No, that is not what we do at Blumhouse. You know better. We want things to be stupid and make no sense whatsoever. Here, take it, rewrite it. Excuse me? Yes. Rewrite it and don't come back until it has more stupid, more silly, and more over the top. It's not supposed to make sense. We don't do that here. When you turn in the next draft, if this is not the dumbest movie imaginable, you are fired. All right. Seriously, after you see this movie, those thoughts are going to run through your head because, like I said, none of this makes sense whatsoever. And it's such a shame because one of the downfalls of this movie is how they explain so much and how it gets more confusing. They do all this explaining, but they never explain the thing that matters to most. Like, where does the island come from? Who made the island? When was it made? Why was it made? What is the secret? I mean, they just kind of leave it in the air for you to figure out, but you're just so confused by everything else that came before that your head starts to hurt the more you think about it. Guys, this is easily one of the worst movies I've seen in 2020 so far. Even though we're in February, I can easily say that this is possibly going to be the worst of the year. If I had to rate Fantasy Island out of a 1 out of 10, I would easily give this a 1 out of 10. Yes, a 1. out of 10. But guys, if you like the film, hey, that's great. All films are subjective. That is just my opinion. Have you seen this thing, or do you want to see it? Are you excited about it, or are you going to just pass? Let me know down in the comment section below. Let's get this conversation going and keep it flowing. If you like this video, please go ahead and give me that thumbs up, because yes, it really does help me out. And also please subscribe to the YouTube channel. Help me reach 30,000 subscribers. That is my next milestone that I want to hit. You can also look me up on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, all that good stuff. It's right there at the bottom of your screen. And I also have links in the description box and in the pinned comments. And guys, I'm just a regular guy giving my opinions on movies, just kind of like how you do amongst your family and friends. I'm not the best. Sometimes I make mistakes, but one thing's for sure, I'm having a lot of fun. So guys, before you go, don't forget to always chase your dreams, because I'm chasing mine. My name is Brandon Keith Avery, and that's just my opinion. Peace.